From a combat master who trained the strongest fighters to the leader of the strongest team on the server, this is every forgotten unstable SMP player explained, starting with Rackrub2. Rackrub was one of Parrot's earliest friends, and together they spent a huge part of Season 1 breaking people out of prison after prison. Rackrub built TNT cannons with Parrot, snuck past guards with him, and helped free players like the Robchu, Fans, and jumperwho, one chunk ban at a time. Even helped break out Spoke and Wifies, the two people who basically became the heart of the whole story, and that breakout ended up changing the entire direction of the server. But here's the part most people forget. Rackrub2 later joined District 13, the resistance group Parrot built to fight the Mafia, and he left it almost right away because things were moving too slow for him. Keep that in mind because a lot of these forgotten players left big groups for the exact same reason. They got bored or felt like nothing was changing. Next is manepear, and he's honestly one of the most skilled fighters most viewers never talk about. Main used to guard Prince Zam's empire alongside flamefrags, until one day he betrayed Zam just for fun and helped Wemmbu kidnap 3 of Zam's own men. He didn't even have a real reason, he just felt like doing it, which tells you about how Main treats loyalty in general. Later on, Main trained Wemmbu in mace fighting, the same mace that became one of the most feared weapons on the server. But then Main found out that the Mafia member he had fought in Ice Mountain was actually flamefrags, and he tried to take Wembu's mace as some kind of payment. Wemmbu said no and ran, and Main left a sign that just said lost cause. In Season 2, Main vanished into the deep caves and came back as the first player to fully master the spear, fighting with pure speed instead of shields or totems, which made him almost impossible to hit. When flamefrags got locked up by the law, Main dropped his whole lone wolf attitude and broke him out, robbing the law's vault on the way out. That's a real friend, even if he forgot to show up at first. Then there's Squido, who might be the kindest person who was ever close to a villain. She refused to kill anyone the entire time she was near the Mafia, which is rare for someone that close to Ashlag, and it's part of why so many people on the server actually trusted her even when they didn't trust the group she was a part of. She built things for Spoke's big project called the Wonders, got chunk banned after Wemmbu and Prince Zam found glitched items in her storage, and got broken out of prison by Parrot himself. Later, she joined Wembu's civilization, and in Season 2 she was found hiding in a secret base with Ashlag called Point Nemo, which Spoke eventually found and destroyed completely. People believe she came back to Ash's side because they are actually a couple outside the game, and she was once even offered the chance to be a 4th main character in the whole story, but turned it down from a quieter kind of content instead. Squido never wanted power, she just wanted her friends safe. Even when her friends kept ending up on opposite sides of a war she never really chose to be part of. Now let's talk about Ashlag, because even though everyone remembers him as the Mafia leader, people forget how he actually built that power in the first place. He started by quietly helping Spoke and mapicc pretending to be on their side, while secretly destroying the same farms they were trying to protect, then blaming the destruction on Spoke so nobody would suspect him. He used fear, lies, and fake friendliness to climb to the very top, recruiting people like Minutetech as a spy and turning members against each other without anyone noticing what he was really doing. He built a master stasis so that if he ever died, everyone in the Mafia would die with him, even the people who got dragged in without choosing it, which is exactly why Parrot and Wifies couldn't bring themselves to kill him even when they had the chance. When Parrot finally tried to forgive him, Ashlag blamed everything on the director instead of owning what he did. Remember Rackrub2 leaving District 13 out of boredom? Well, Ashlag is the complete opposite. He never got bored of power, not once, and that difference is the entire reason he became the biggest threat on the whole server. But before we continue, I want to ask you to subscribe, because I'm trying to hit 100k subscribers by the end of 2026, and it's only possible with your help. Moving on, Jiren used to rule the Skyblock civilization before the Mafia took it over completely. He gave Wemmbu his mace, the same one Main later helped train him with, which became Gambit, one of the most iconic weapons in the story. In Season 2, Jiren scammed Spoke during a trade, then got caught hiding in 2 different secret bases with Redunes, both of which Spoke tracked down and racked without much effort. Jiren is proof that even small, forgotten forgotten characters can still be connected to the biggest weapons and the biggest names on the server, even if his own story never went very far. Jumperwho deserves way more credit than she gets. She started as a prison guard, got freed by Parrot's group, and spent years bouncing between sides based on what felt right to her, not what was easy. She left District 13 because she felt unhappy with how slow things were going, almost exactly like Wreck-Up 2 did. She later became a spy master for the bounty assassin team, secretly helping Parrot while pretending to hunt him, and she even killed her own spy to protect the cover when things got too risky. When the spies kept dying under leowook's orders, she finally turned on him completely and helped Spoke break his armor for good, ending one of the longest running conflicts in the story. In season 3, she was hunted down by Null alongside Spoke, lost almost all of her remaining spies, and still chose to help him fight back instead of blaming him for it like she once blamed leowook. Out of everyone on this list, Jumper might be the one whose loyalty actually cost her the most. Canadian is a quieter name, but his stories matters just as much. He was smart, careful, and always thinking 3 steps ahead, which made him a key part of breaking people out of the prison called Proton. When it came time to escape, he gave up his own elytra so Parrot could get out, knowing he would be left behind without a way to fly. He survived using a stasis chamber he built himself, which honestly says a lot about how prepared he always was, even in situations nobody else planned for. He bounced through fallen civilization, then District 13, leaving the same way Wreck-Up 2 and Jumper did, because progress felt too slow for him. Later, he helped protect Wembu's base from Teal, even after Teal threatened to kill him over it. Canadian never wanted glory, he just wanted his friends to make it out alive, even if that meant he didn't get the credit for any of it. Prince Zam might be the most underrated villain in the entire series. He built an empire focused on total control, using chunk bans, memory bans that crashed the server, and constant paranoia to keep enemies away from everything he owned. He teamed up with wemmbu for a huge stretch of season 1, hunting Spoke through prisons, mazes, and secret vaults, and the two of them were honestly a terrifying combo when they worked together. They chunk banned god after god, broke into an underwater base, and even got trapped together inside escape rooms built specifically to stop them. But Zam's need for control eventually turned on his own allies too, tricking wemmbu into guarding an empty vault just to get him out of the way for good. After wemmbu found out, he and Egg-chan blew up Zam's statue at spawn and eventually helped tear the whole empire down piece by piece. Prince Zam later got locked up by the law, broken out by Spoke, and ended up helping rebuild District 13 alongside Jumper and his spies. Remember how Main betrayed Zam just for fun back at the start? Well, by the end, Zam was the one being betrayed by almost everyone he trusted, which is a pretty fitting way for a story to come full circle. Straight, otherwise known as Mind Manor, is one of the smallest names on this list, but his one big moment still mattered. He used to chase wemmbu around Cyborg civilization and help force him to give up his elytra, the exact item Jiren gave wemmbu in the first place. Later, Straight betrayed the whole civilization by leaking its location straight to the Mafia, which led directly to its destruction. He barely shows up after that, just appearing in a crowd during a council meeting in season 2. But that one betrayal helped set off a chain reaction that changed the entire server. Kier and Dev were basically hired thieves working for Boostver, sent to steal specific items from Parrot and Wifies during one of their quests. Parrot tricked them more than once, even editing a book to remove important clues before handing it over, and convincing them that random hot air balloons in the sky was secretly an arrow pointing somewhere important. Eventually, they did manage to steal everything Parrot and Wifies had collected, which is honestly a pretty solid win for two characters most people completely forgot about. Later, wemmbu got hired by their own boss, Boostver, to destroy their base, only to team up with Parrot instead and rob Boostver's vault for himself, stealing thousands of netherite and diamond blocks in the process. By the end, both Kier and Dav turned around and voted against Boostver, proving that even hired people has limits when they stop trusting the person paying them. Branzy Branzy barely gets any screen time, but he's actually tied to one of the most powerful players on the server, clownpierce. Parrot once held Branzy hostage just to pressure Clown into backing off, but ended up changing his mind and letting Branzy go after actually talking with him and realizing he wasn't really part of the fight. That one moment of mercy says a lot, considering how deadly Clown is and how much leverage Branzy could have given Parrot if he had decided to use it instead. Finally, Serpentbound Tree leads his own golden kingdom and commands real respect among the other first generation players. Unlike most fighters on this server, he prefers tricking and stalling people instead of throwing down in combat, usually letting his plans do the work instead of his sword. He lied to wemmbu about a powerful location called the Forge, which led to a trap that accidentally got Achan stuck in the end instead of wemmbu. When wemmbu and the others fought back, Serpentbound and his allies lost badly, with two of his own men falling into the void, but he talked his way out of dying by giving wemmbu access to more orbital strikes in exchange for being left alone. So what does all of this actually prove? It proves that the biggest battles on unstable SMP were never won by just the famous names everyone remembers. Every betrayal, every escape, every weapon, even wembu's mace and the orbital strike cannon, all trace back to forgotten players like this. If you enjoyed this video, you'll enjoy the video on screen as well. Anyways, I'll see you next time. Goodbye!